Hello, welcome to Full Moon Meditations for the month of July 2019. Our meditation practice this month is called Samvritti or Samavritti. It is also sometimes referred to as one-to-one breathing. The intention of this practice is to create evenness and fullness of the breath and to bring balance into the space between the inhalation and exhalation. One of the reasons that I love this practice as a full moon exercise is to invite this sense of fullness and well-roundedness into the breath. One benefit of this practice is to create external balance from a sense of our own personal internal balance. So what this could potentially mean for you is that by creating a balanced breath, a balanced inhalation, and a balanced exhalation, that this rewires your prana, your energy and neural pathways to then reflect in your external world, in your life, a greater, wider, fuller sense of balance. One more benefit potentially of this practice is balancing our exchange of energy, both internally and externally. For me, what this brings up is if I am giving too much energy into something in my life, or maybe I'm not giving enough energy to something, that by bringing this awareness to the breath, I can have a deeper sense of awareness within myself of how do I balance this sense of giving and receiving energy, both in my meditation practice and in our daily life. Now, if you would like to come to a comfortable seated position, if you would like to pause the recording now to get comfortable, then please do. And so to begin, if you would like to sit on a pillow or a blanket, I highly recommend for seated meditation that the hips are at least slightly elevated so that the knees are equal distance from the floor as the hips. So there's a straight line from the hips to the knees that is parallel to the ground beneath you. Once you are comfortable on your prop or cushion of choice, we'll begin with an awareness of posture. Close the eyes and bring your awareness first to the sitting bones. Ground the sitting bones into the props beneath you. Now bring the awareness to the belly. Draw in through the pit or the center of the abdomen towards the low back. Now bring the awareness to the heart center and lift up and out through the sternum. Now bring the awareness to the collarbones. Expand through the collarbones and draw them back. Now bring the awareness to the shoulder blades on the back body and draw the shoulder blades down away from the ears. Now bring the awareness to the back of the neck. Lift up powerfully through the cervical spine, all the way up through the crown of the head. And now imagine there is a simultaneous lifting above you and grounding beneath you, creating length in the spine and the Sushumna column. Next, we'll bring our awareness to the breath. Before we begin the Samvritti practice, we'll just begin by noticing the breath. Notice the qualities, if it is shallow or deep, if it is soft or forced. And in pranayama and other yogic breathing practices, we want to never exert excessive force with the breath. We are controlling the breath, as in we are using our mind to direct where we want the breath to go, but it should never feel uncomfortable. And another practice to keep in mind is that if you ever feel strained while doing pranayama or other breathing practices, to simply return to normal breathing for just a moment, and then return to your pranayama or other breathing practice. On your next inhalation, I'll invite you to count to the number 3. So inhale 1, 2, 3, and then exhale 1, 2, 3. We'll continue this breath at your own pace for several more breaths. Breathing in on a count of 3, breathing out on a count of 3. Each inhalation and exhalation should feel soft and smooth. If you lose count or become distracted, just bring your awareness back to the breath whenever you are able. Continue for a few more breaths, breathing in to a count of 3, breathing out to a count of 3. After your next exhalation, you can release the practice. We'll return to normal breathing for just a moment. Next, I'll invite you to practice again, but I'll invite you to lengthen both the inhalation and exhalation to a count of 6. So when you're ready on the next inhalation, you'll count to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Continue at your own pace for several breaths. Remember to keep the breath soft and smooth, and if at any point it feels as if you are straining, you can always take a break and then return when you are ready. After your next exhalation, you can release the practice and return to normal breathing. Before we close the practice, I'll invite you to take a moment to notice how the mind, the body, the breath perhaps feels different than when you first began the practice. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings know peace. Namaste.